Dickerson seam runs 300 feet down, northeast angle, follows the anthracite vein that made this county rich back when rich meant something. I've inspected these tunnels for 11 years. Know every timber brace, every water seep, every place the ceiling drops to 4 feet and you walk bent like a question mark. My daughter Natalie's got a field trip today. 3rd grade. They're going to the Anthracite Heritage Museum in Scranton. All those old photos of breaker boys and company towns. She wanted me to come talk to her class about mining. I said maybe next time. Regret that now. Should have taken the day. But Renfrew called at 6 a.m. about the crew hitting something in the old Hutchins extension, and when the site boss calls before sunrise, you go. The Hutchins shaft was sealed in 1884. County records say cave-in. Killed 6 men. Left the whole eastern section closed off with concrete and brick. We weren't supposed to be anywhere near it. The active seam runs parallel, 30 yards west. But the company's been pushing yields. Gotta meet quarterly targets. Last month, they had us approve cutting closer to the old works. I signed off. Calculated the safety margin. 28 feet of solid rock between active tunnel and sealed section. More than enough. I was wrong. Renfrew meets me at the lift cage. He's got coal dust in his eyebrows. Means he's been down there already, not just calling from the surface office like he usually does. That's bad. Renfrew's 62. Got a hip replacement last year. Only goes underground when he absolutely has to. They breached it, he says. Hutchins extension. Drilled right through the barrier wall. Drilled? They were supposed to be heading southwest. Foreman got confused about the survey markers. Took the wrong angle. Punch drilled straight into the old shaft. I don't say what I'm thinking, which is, the foreman's an idiot and we're lucky the whole thing didn't collapse. Instead, I grab my gear. MSA hard hat. Not one of those cheap plastic ones, the good fiberglass model. Wheat brand lamp pack, 6 hours of battery. Self-rescuer breathing apparatus on my belt, even though I've never had to crack the seal in 11 years. Steel-toed Timberlands that need replacing. Natalie drew a smiley face on the left toe in Sharpie last month. I keep meaning to clean it off. The cage drops. Renfrew doesn't talk during the descent. The cable makes this singing sound. High-pitched, metal under tension. 300 feet takes about 2 minutes. Long enough to think about all the ways rock can kill you. Collapse. Gas pocket. Flooding. Equipment failure. I've written reports about every scenario. Know the statistics. Coal mining safer now than it was. Better ventilation. Better structural supports. Better emergency protocols. But safer doesn't mean safe. We hit bottom. The main tunnel runs east, lit every 30 feet by LED work lights the company installed last year. Before that, it was all carbide lamps and shadows. The air smells like it always does, mineral, damp, with that particular coal dust thickness that gets in your lungs and never quite leaves. I've been breathing it so long I don't notice anymore. Except today there's something else underneath. Sweet, like cut grass left in a bag too long. You smell that? I ask Renfrew. Yeah. Started about an hour ago. Gets stronger near the breach. We walk. My lamp throws a circle of light 12 feet ahead. The ceiling timbers are original, rough-cut oak from the 1950s when they reopened this section. Every 100 feet there's a ventilation shaft rising to the surface. I can hear the fans humming, pushing air down from above. Good airflow. No gas buildup. Oxygen levels should be fine. Should be. The breach is in tunnel section E7. I can see the crew's lights ahead. 4 miners standing around looking at something. They turn when they hear us coming. Paulson, the foreman who screwed up the angle. Devereaux, who's been working here longer than I've been alive. Teague and Braddock, both new guys, maybe 6 months underground. And they're all coughing. Not the normal coal dust cough everyone gets. This is deeper. Teague spits and his saliva's got black threads in it. When did the coughing start? Right after we broke through, Paulson says. He's defensive. Knows he fucked up. Took maybe 20 minutes to clear the rubble. Soon as we got a look inside, everyone started. He breaks off to cough. covers his mouth. I see dust on his hand when he pulls it away. Gray-green, not coal dust. Coal dust is black. The breach is a ragged hole about 4 feet wide in the tunnel wall. Brick and concrete chunks scattered on the floor. Beyond it, darkness. My lamp can't reach the far side. I step closer, shine the light through. The Hutchins extension looks exactly like I'd expect a shaft sealed for 140 years to look. Timber supports rotted to black sticks. Floor covered in pooled water and breakdown rubble. Except there are bodies, 6 of them, sitting against the far wall like they're resting. Still wearing their mining clothes, wool pants, suspenders, cloth caps. The fabric's intact. So is the flesh underneath. After 140 years, they look like they died yesterday. And they're covered in something. Growing out of their mouths, their nostrils, their eyes. Thin stalks, maybe 8 inches long, topped with bulbous caps. Fruiting bodies. Fungus. The kind I've seen in biology documentaries about rainforests. Except this is growing from human tissue, and when my lamp hits it, the caps pulse. Contract and expand. Like breathing, like they're still alive. The sweet smell is overpowering now. I can taste it, and I'm coughing. Can't help it. Deep in my chest, like something's crawling in my lungs. Devereaux spits again. More black threads. He's staring at his palm. What is that? I pull out my radio. Surface, this is Kerrigan. We need the mine sealed. Now, full evacuation protocol. We've got a biological contamination event. Static. Then the dispatcher's voice. Young guy named Floyd who works surface operations. Say again? You're breaking up. Biological contamination. Hutchins breach. Evacuate the mine. I'm not authorized to. Then get someone who is. And call the state mining authority. Tell them we need a hazmat team. I turn to the crew. They're all coughing now. Braddock's on his knees. When he coughs, a puff of gray-green dust comes out of his mouth, like he's exhaling spores. Everyone topside. Now, don't touch your faces. Don't take off your respirators. We're not wearing respirators, Paulson says. You said air quality was. I said move. The lift cage can only take 6 at a time. We pack in me, Renfrew, the 4 miners. I hit the up button. Nothing happens. Hit it again. The indicator light's dead. They shut down the lift, Renfrew says. Standard protocol for contamination events. This isn't. I cough. Can't finish the sentence. My chest hurts. Deep ache like I've been running. They can't just leave us down here, but they can. I know they can because I wrote the goddamn protocol. Section 7.3. In the event of gas leak or biological hazard, all lift operations cease until Surface Command confirms safe extraction procedures. Could take 30 minutes. Could take 3 hours. Depends on how long it takes the company's lawyer to tell them what won't get them sued. We climb the emergency ladder instead. It's welded to the wall of the secondary shaft. Steel rungs every 18 inches go straight up 300 feet to a locked surface hatch. I've never actually used it. None of us have. It's the thing you hope you never need. Devereaux goes first. He's 70, got arthritis in both knees, but he climbs like he's 20. Fear does that. Teague and Braddock follow. Then Paulson. Then me. Renfrew brings up the rear. 20 feet up. Teague stops. Just stops climbing. His hand's on the rung, but he's not moving. Keep going. I shout up. I can't. My chest. You can. Climb. He climbs. Slow. Every few rungs he has to stop and cough. I can see the dust coming out of him. Gray-green clouds in the lamplight. It's not dissipating. It's hanging in the air, floating down toward us. I hold my breath. 40 feet up, I can't anymore. Breathe in. Taste the sweetness. Start coughing immediately. This is how it spreads. Airborne. Through the ventilation. Every tunnel in this mine connects to every other tunnel. The fans are pushing contaminated air through the whole system. Natalie's field trip is at the Heritage Museum. She'll be looking at photos of breaker boys. Kids her age working the coal chutes, sorting rock from anthracite, breathing dust 12 hours a day. Life expectancy 35 years. Black lung, silicosis. I used to think we'd moved past that. Better regulations, better safety, better world. I was wrong about that too. 100 feet up. Devereaux's still climbing strong. Teague's slowing down. Braddock's fallen behind, coughing so hard he can barely hold the rungs. Below me, Renfrew's breathing sounds wrong. Raspy, like his lungs are full of fluid. How you doing? I call down. Been better. Cough. Kerrigan, if I don't make it, you're making it. Tell my wife I'm sorry about the Buick. I didn't scratch it. It was already scratched. You're telling her yourself. 150 feet. Halfway. My arms are burning. The ladder's slick with condensation. Or maybe it's just my hands sweating. Hard to tell. Everything's wet down here. I can hear water dripping somewhere. The fan's humming. And underneath, a new sound. Clicking. Like insects. Coming from below. I look down. Renfrew's lamp is flickering. And in the dimness beyond, I see movement in the main tunnel. Shapes. Human-shaped. Walking toward the ladder shaft. The miners we left behind when we evacuated. Third shift crew. They should be topside by now. Emergency protocol says everyone up when contamination's called. But they're not topside. They're down here, walking toward us. And when one of them steps into the light, I see why. His name was Leonard. Lenny. Work section C. Been here 4 years. Nice guy. Brings donuts on Fridays. He's 30 feet below Renfrew, standing at the base of the ladder, looking up. His mouth is open, not like he's trying to talk. Open like a tunnel. And inside his mouth, growing from his throat, I see them. Fruiting bodies. Dozens of them. Thin stalks pushing up through his windpipe. Caps emerging from between his teeth. When he exhales, gray-green dust pours out. He starts climbing. Go! I shout up to the crew. Faster! Devereaux's at the hatch now, pounding on it. It's locked. They sealed us in. There's an emergency release. Red handle. Left side. Metal scrapes. The hatch swings open. Daylight floods down the shaft. Painful after 3 hours underground. Devereaux pulls himself through. Then Teague. Then Braddock. Paulson's 30 feet below me, moving slow. Too slow. I can hear Lenny climbing. Steady. Mechanical. Like he doesn't need to rest. 200 feet. I grab the pole. My right hand slips. Catch myself with the left. My palm's bleeding. Must have cut it on something. The blood's mixed with gray-green dust. It's in my skin. In my bloodstream. Growing. Paulson makes it to the hatch. Pulls himself through. I'm 10 feet below. Renfrew's 20 below me. And Lenny's, close, 25 feet down. I can see the fungus now. It's not just in his mouth. It's growing from his eyes, his nostrils, pushing through the pores of his skin. The fruiting bodies sway as he climbs, like they're reaching for us. I grab the edge of the hatch. Renfrew's right behind me. His face is gray. There's dust on his lips. Black threads in his eyes. I can't feel my legs, he says. You don't need to feel them. Just move them. He climbs. 3 rungs. 2. 1. I reach down. Grab his arm. Pull. He's heavy. Dead weight. I get him halfway through the hatch when he starts coughing. Not normal coughing. Convulsions. His whole body spasming. And when he opens his mouth, I see them growing inside. Tiny stalks. Just starting, pushing up through the tissue of his throat. I pull him through. We collapse on the surface. Gravel and weeds. The hatch is next to the old equipment shed. 100 yards from the main compound. Devereaux slams the hatch shut. Spins the lock wheel. Below us, Lenny hits the hatch. Once. Twice. He doesn't stop. The state mining authority shows up 3 hours later. 2 guys in hazmat suits, one carrying an air quality monitor, the other filming everything with a handheld camera. They won't let us leave. We're sitting in the equipment shed, me, Renfrew, Devereaux, Paulson, Teague, Braddock. The company doctor took blood samples. Asked questions about symptoms. Everyone's coughing. Renfrew's the worst. He's sitting against the wall, breathing shallow. The black threads in his eyes are spreading, creeping across the whites like cracks in porcelain. The state inspector's name is Delacroix. She's young, maybe 30, masters in environmental health from Pitt, she tells us. Like credentials matter when you're dealing with something that's been sealed underground for 140 years. The mine's under quarantine, she says. Nobody in, nobody out. We've contacted the CDC. They're sending a team. When? 72 hours. We don't have 72 hours. I cough. Gray-green dust on my hand. This thing spreads through air. The ventilation system connects to 3 other mine complexes. Sewickley Seam, Mammoth Vein, Pittsburgh Bed. That's 400 miners working across 6 counties. We've shut down all operations. Everyone's been evacuated. Evacuated where? You think containment means keeping people in a shed? This thing's in our lungs. We're spreading it every time we breathe. She looks at her partner. He's studying the air monitor. Particulate counts elevated, he says. Biological markers consistent with fungal spores. Concentrations highest around. He points the monitor at Renfrew. Renfrew's not moving anymore. His breathing's slowed. His skin's gray. The black threads have reached his pupils. And I can see something growing from his nostrils. Tiny white filaments. Just beginning to emerge. He needs a hospital, I say. Hospital's not equipped for this, Delacroix says. We're setting up a field facility. Until then, you stay here. My daughter. Your daughter's fine. She's not in the contamination zone. You don't know that. I was home this morning. I kissed her goodbye. If I'm infected, then she's been exposed. Nothing we can do about it now. I stand up. Delacroix takes a step back. Her partner moves his hand to something on his belt. Not a weapon. An air horn. Panic alarm. They're more scared of us than we are of what's inside us. I need to call her, I say. I need to know she's safe. No communication until we establish quarantine protocols. She's 8 years old, and if you call her, you'll panic her. Panic spreads faster than infection. We're containing this. You need to trust the process. I don't trust the process. I wrote emergency protocols for 11 years. I know exactly how many things can go wrong, how many variables we can't control, how many times we guess wrong. Paulson's standing at the window, looking out at the main compound. There's a chain link fence around it now. Wasn't there this morning. They put it up in 3 hours, topped with razor wire. Guards at the gate. Men in hazmat suits setting up portable structures, white tents with clear plastic walls. Medical stations. Decontamination chambers. Quarantine cells. This isn't containment. This is a prison. They're not letting us out, Paulson says. Even if we survive this, even if the infection clears, we know too much. We saw those bodies. We know the company cut corners, drilled where they shouldn't have, opened something that was sealed for a reason. You're paranoid, Devereaux says, but his voice is weak. He's coughing. Gray-green dust. Am I? The state knew. Look at how fast they responded. Hazmat teams, quarantine fencing, like they were ready, like they've been planning for this. Planning for what? Teague asks. He's young, 23, moved here from Ohio 6 months ago because the pay was good, because mining was steady work, because he didn't know better. For a breach, I say. The Hutchins shaft wasn't sealed because of a cave-in. It was sealed because of what was inside. 6 men went down there in 1884 and never came back out. The company sealed it with concrete and brick. Not just the tunnel, they filled the whole thing. Tons of material. That's not standard for a cave-in. That's a tomb. You think they knew? Delacroix asks. She's been listening. Her camera's still recording. I think someone knew. I think it's in the records, somewhere. And I think the company's known exactly where that shaft was for 140 years. And they've been avoiding it until last month, when they approved cutting closer, when they needed to meet quarterly targets. That's speculation. That's how mining works. You know the risks. You calculate. Sometimes you guess wrong. I look at Renfrew. He's not responding anymore. Eyes open, staring at nothing, breathing slow. And from his mouth, I see them growing. 6 fruiting bodies. Thin stalks pushing past his teeth. Caps beginning to form. Sometimes, I say, everyone dies anyway. Hour 17. Renfrew's dead. Not dead like his heart stopped. Dead like he's not human anymore. The fungus has taken over. It grew through him in 6 hours. Up through his throat, out through his mouth and nose and eyes and ears. The fruiting bodies are 8 inches tall now. Swaying, pulsing. When they pulse, they release spores. Gray-green clouds that fill the shed. We've moved to the far corner. Torn down ceiling panels to breathe air from the ventilation ducts. It's not helping. We're all infected. Black threads in our eyes. White filaments growing from our nostrils. I can feel them inside me, in my lungs, in my sinuses, growing. The CDC team arrived 12 hours ago. They're outside in full hazmat gear, level as suits, self-contained breathing. They've taken samples from Renfrew's body, from the air, from the soil around the mine entrance, from the water in the runoff tanks. They're not trying to save us. They're studying us, watching what happens, taking notes. Delacroix comes to the door. She's not wearing a hazmat suit anymore, just a surgical mask. She's infected too. Was infected the moment she opened the hatch to check the mine. The spores are everywhere. In the ground, in the air, in the water table. We need to make a decision, she says. About the mine. What kind of decision? My voice sounds wrong, raspy, like I'm talking through cotton. The CDC wants to seal it, permanently, not just the Hutchins shaft, the whole complex, all 6,000 feet of tunnels. Fill it with concrete. Make sure nothing else comes out. There are still men down there, Devereaux says. He's barely conscious, lying on the floor. The fruiting bodies are starting to emerge from his throat. Not men, Delacroix says. Not anymore. You don't know that. We sent a drone down an hour ago. Thermal imaging. There are 17 figures moving through the tunnels. Body temperature 62 degrees. They're not alive. They're infected. Hosts. The fungus is using them to spread. To spread where? Paulson asks. It's underground. As long as we keep the shafts sealed. It doesn't need the shafts. It spreads through the coal seam, through groundwater, through the ventilation system. Every mine in this region connects eventually. The Sewickley, the Mammoth, the Pittsburgh bed. 400 miners work those tunnels. If they're exposed, then seal them all, I say. Every mine, every entrance. Pour concrete down every shaft. We can't. Not without state approval. Not without federal funding. Not without. She stops, coughs. Gray-green dust. Not without time we don't have. Then what's the decision? She looks at me. Her eyes are threaded with black. The infection's moving fast. 12 hours from exposure to symptoms. 18 hours from symptoms to whatever Renfrew is now. The mine's on fire, she says. I don't understand. Then I do. Centralia, I say. You're going to burn it. The coal seam extends for 16 miles. If we ignite it at the right points, create enough heat, the fungus can't survive temperatures above 400 degrees. We checked. The fruiting bodies die at 380. And everyone inside? They're already dead. You don't know that. Some of them might be unconscious, infected but still alive, still themselves. Would you want to be saved? Delacroix asks. If you were infected? If the fungus was growing through your lungs, your brain, your eyes? If you knew you'd spend whatever time you had left as a host, a tunnel for spores. I don't answer, because I do know. I can feel it inside me, growing, taking over. My thoughts are getting slower, harder to hold, like something's wrapping around my neurons, squeezing. How long do we have? Before ignition? For hours. Before your... She looks at Renfrew. Like him? Maybe 2 hours. Natalie's school day ends at 3. It's 1:30 now. She'll be home by 3:20. She'll be expecting me to pick her up. I always pick her up on Tuesdays. It's our day. We stop at Rita's on Route 29, get water ice. She always gets mango. I get cherry. We sit at the picnic tables out front and she tells me about school, about her friends, about whatever third-grade drama is consuming her world. I need to call her, need to tell her I'm not coming, need to tell her I love her, need to tell her, what? That I'm infected with a fungal parasite? That I'm going to die? That I'm already dying? That the last thing I'll do before I stop being human is exhale spores into the air, contaminate everything around me, spread this to everyone I've ever touched? I need a phone, I say. No communication. I need to talk to my daughter. It's too late. The quarantine zone's expanding. Her school's inside it. Everyone's being evacuated to the civic center. She's already there. She's infected? We don't know. Probably. You kissed her this morning. If you were carrying spores. I stand up, walk to the door. Delacroix doesn't try to stop me. She's dying too. We're all dying. Containment doesn't matter anymore. Outside, the compound's empty. The hazmat teams have pulled back to a perimeter 2 miles out. The white tents are abandoned. The decontamination chamber's dark. They've given up on saving us. Now they're just trying to contain the spread. Burn the mine. Burn the infected. Burn the whole region if they have to. The civic center's 3 miles west. I can walk it, probably, if my legs hold out. If the fungus doesn't take my motor control first. I make it half a mile before I fall. The infection's in my spine now. I can feel it. Filaments wrapped around my nerves. Squeezing. My legs stop working. I'm on the ground. Gravel and weeds. The sky's blue. Perfect October day. Leaves turning red and gold. Natalie loves October. She collects leaves. Presses them in books. She wanted to show me her collection last night, but I was too tired. I'm always too tired. Someone's coming. Footsteps on gravel. I turn my head. It's Devereaux. He followed me. He's walking wrong. Mechanical. Like his muscles aren't his anymore. His mouth is open. Fruiting bodies emerging. 6 of them. 8 inches tall. Swaying. Go back, I say. My voice doesn't work right. Slurred. Like I'm drunk. He sits down next to me. Doesn't speak. Can't speak. The fungus is in his throat. In his brain. He's not Devereaux anymore. He's a host. Tunnel. A structure the fungus built to spread itself. But he's still here. I can see it in his eyes. The person underneath. The 70-year-old man who brought donuts on Fridays. Who complained about his knees. Who joked about scratching his wife's Buick. He's still there. Trapped. Watching himself transform. I'm sorry, I say. About the Buick. He doesn't respond. Can't respond. Just sits there. Breathing. Releasing spores. I need to get to Natalie. Need to see her one more time. Even if I'm infected. Even if seeing me will traumatize her forever. I need her to know I tried. That I didn't just disappear underground like the men in the Hutchins shaft. Like the miners in all those Heritage Museum photos. I get up. My legs work. Barely. I walk. Devereaux walks with me. Side by side. 2 infected men stumbling toward a civic center full of people who might already be dead. The civic center's surrounded by National Guard. Men with rifles. Pointing them at us. Shouting something. I can't hear them. My ears are full of filaments. Everything's muffled. Like I'm underwater. One of them fires. Warning shot. hits the pavement in front of me. I keep walking. He fires again, this time at my chest. I don't feel it. The fungus has taken my pain receptors. I'm still walking. Devereaux too. We're 20 feet from the entrance when they shoot us both. Multiple rounds. Center mass. Headshots. I go down. Blood on the pavement. So much blood. But I'm still conscious. The fungus is keeping me alive. Keeping the host functional long enough to spread. The civic center door opens. A girl runs out. 8 years old. Brown hair in braids. Wearing her Roosevelt Elementary hoodie. Carrying a backpack covered in stickers. Natalie. She sees me. Starts running. The guards grab her. Pull her back. She's screaming. Fighting. Crying. I try to say her name. Can't. My mouth doesn't work anymore. The fruiting bodies are growing. Pushing through my teeth. Through my throat. I can feel them reaching for the surface. Reaching for air. For light. For anything they can contaminate. This is the last thing I'll see. My daughter screaming. Being dragged away by men with guns. While I lie on the pavement transforming into something that isn't human. Something that will spend the next few hours releasing spores until they burn the whole region to ash. I can't protect her from this. Can't save her. Can't even tell her I love her. The fungus pulses. The fruiting bodies release. Gray-green clouds drift toward the civic center. Toward the guards. Toward Natalie. This is how it spreads. I've been conscious for 73 hours. That's not supposed to be possible. The CDC said host consciousness ends 18 hours after full colonization. But I'm still here, still aware, still trapped inside a body that isn't mine anymore. The fungus uses me to walk, to breathe, to spread spores through the quarantine zone. I've walked 16 miles since they shot me, through neighborhoods, schools, churches, anywhere people might have hidden. The fruiting bodies grow from every opening in my body. Mouth, nose, eyes, ears. The exit wound in my chest. They pulse. Release. Pulse. Release. A rhythm I can't control. Devereaux's walking next to me. He's still conscious too. I can see it in what's left of his eyes. The awareness. The horror. We can't speak. Can't touch. Can't do anything but walk and spread and watch. They burned the mine 4 hours after infection. Ignited the coal seam at 6 points simultaneously. The fires spreading underground. Will burn for decades. Centralia's been burning since 1962. This will burn longer. Hotter. They're not trying to put it out. They're trying to sterilize the earth. Natalie's at the civic center still. I walked past it twice. Saw her through the windows. She's infected. Everyone inside is infected. The spores got through the ventilation system, through the door gaps, through the clothes of the guards who dragged her back inside. She's coughing. Gray-green dust. The filaments are starting in her eyes. Black threads. Growing. They're going to burn the civic center too. I heard the CDC team talking about it. Incendiary protocols. Make sure nothing survives. Can't risk the infection spreading beyond the quarantine zone. She's 8 years old. The National Guard shoots us every day. Dozens of rounds. Hundreds. We go down. The fungus repairs enough tissue to keep us mobile. We get back up. Keep walking. Keep spreading. They can't stop us. The only thing that stops us is fire. I've counted 17 hosts in the quarantine zone. Miners from the tunnels. People from the surface. A few guards who got too close. We don't communicate, don't coordinate, but we move in patterns. Like the fungus is directing us. Optimizing spread. Maximizing coverage. This is what I've become. A vector. A delivery mechanism. A tunnel the fungus built to contaminate the world. I can still think. Still remember. Still feel. That's the worst part. The fungus doesn't take your consciousness. It just takes everything else. Your body, your voice, your choice. You're still there, watching, unable to stop what you're doing, unable to die. Natalie started coughing yesterday. Today, the filaments are visible in her nostrils, white threads pushing through. Tomorrow, the fruiting bodies will emerge. She'll become what I am, a host, a structure, still conscious, still trapped, still aware that I did this to her. I kissed her goodbye Tuesday morning. I was already infected, already carrying spores. I spread this to everyone I touched, everyone I breathed near, everyone I loved. The CDC's expanding the burn zone. I heard them discussing it on their radios. They're evacuating 6 counties, going to burn everything. The mines, the towns, the forests. Create a firebreak 50 miles wide. Make sure the infection doesn't escape. Natalie will burn with the civic center. I'll burn somewhere in the quarantine zone. Devereaux will burn. All 17 hosts will burn. And maybe that will be enough. Maybe the fire will kill the fungus. Maybe it will stop the spread. But I don't think so. The fungus survived 140 years sealed underground. Survived without light, without food, without air. It survived because it's patient, because it waits, because when something opens the seal, when something gives it access to hosts, it spreads. And it's spreading now, through groundwater, through the coal seams, through every connected tunnel in Pennsylvania. The CDC thinks they can contain it. They think fire will sterilize the earth. They're wrong. I walked past the burn perimeter this morning, saw the fire line, orange flames eating through the forest, smoke rising in columns that blot out the sun. The temperature inside the burn zone is 800 degrees. Nothing survives that, nothing human, but I saw something in the smoke. Spores, gray-green particles rising with the heat, carried by convection currents, up into the atmosphere, the winds blowing east, toward Scranton, toward the Pocono Mountains, toward every mine and town and school in a 100-mile radius. Fire doesn't sterilize. Fire spreads. I'm still walking, still spreading, still conscious. The fruiting bodies on my chest have grown to 14 inches. They sway when I move, reach toward anyone who gets close. The guards don't shoot anymore. They just watch from behind their perimeter, taking notes, recording, studying how the infection progresses. Delacroix is a host now too. I saw her yesterday. She was walking through the contamination zone with 6 other CDC personnel, all of them infected, all of them still wearing their hazmat suits. The fungus grew through the fabric, punctured the suits from the inside, turned protective equipment into distribution systems. The suits are still recording, still transmitting data. The CDC's getting real-time information about infection progression, about spore dispersal patterns, about host behavior. They're learning, and they're not trying to save us. They're trying to understand us, to weaponize us, to figure out how to control the spread, or how to use it. Natalie's standing at the Civic Center window. I can see her from here, her face pressed against the glass. The fruiting bodies are emerging from her mouth now. 4 of them, small, just starting. She's crying. I can see the tears. They're mixed with gray-green dust. She's looking at me. She knows it's me, knows what I've become, knows what she's becoming. I can't go to her, can't hold her, can't tell her it's going to be okay, because it's not going to be okay. There is no okay. There is only this. Walking, spreading, watching everyone you love transform into what you are. The fire's getting closer. I can feel the heat. 100 yards away. 50. The guards are pulling back, abandoning the perimeter, letting the flames take the quarantine zone, take the civic center, take Natalie. She's still at the window, still watching me. The fruiting bodies are swaying, pulsing, releasing spores inside the civic center, inside her lungs, inside everyone trapped with her. This is the last time I'll see her, the last time she'll see me, and all I can do is stand here, a structure made of meat and fungus, a tunnel breathing contamination into the air. The flames reach the civic center. Glass shatters. Smoke pours through. Natalie disappears behind it. I don't scream, can't scream. The fungus doesn't allow that. It just keeps me walking, keeps me spreading, keeps me conscious enough to understand exactly what I've lost. The fire takes me 6 minutes later. I feel every second of it. The fungus tries to keep the host viable, tries to repair tissue faster than it burns. But there's too much damage, too much heat. My legs stop working. The flames consume me, and I'm still conscious, still aware, still feeling everything. The fungus doesn't let me die, doesn't let me escape, keeps me alive, keeps some part of me alive even as my body burns to ash. I don't know how long it lasts. Hours, days. Time stops meaning anything when you're burning. When every nerve is screaming and the fungus won't let you stop screaming. Eventually the fire moves on. I'm still here, not in my body that's gone. Ash and bone fragments scattered across charred earth. But I'm still here, still conscious. The fungus preserved something, some neural pattern, some electrical signature, stored in the mycelial network underground, in the parts of the infection that survived the fire by going deep, by retreating into the coal seams where the temperature stays constant, where fire can't reach. I'm not alone down here. Devereaux's here, Delacroix, the 17 hosts, everyone who burned. We're all here, trapped in the fungal network, aware, unable to communicate, unable to die. And Natalie's here too. I can feel her, stored somewhere in the darkness. She's scared, confused, calling for me, and I can't answer, can't reach her, can't do anything but exist in this underground prison while the fungus grows through 6 counties of coal seams. The CDC thinks they contained it. They think the fire worked. They think sterilization protocols were successful. But we're still here, under the earth, in the coal, in the groundwater, waiting, growing. The fungus is patient. It survived 140 years sealed in the Hutchins shaft. It'll survive this, and someday, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years from now, someone will dig here again. Someone will open another shaft. Someone will break the seal, and we'll spread again. Natalie and me and everyone we infected. Conscious, trapped, forced to contaminate everything we touch. This is what I've become, what we've all become. Not dead, not alive, just existing, forever, in the darkness, in the coal, in the fungus that turned us into tunnels and won't let us collapse. I can still feel her down here, my daughter, 8 years old, preserved in mycelial tissue, crying in the dark. And I can't help her, can't save her, can't even tell her I'm sorry. Every day I exist like this is another day I understand exactly what I did, what I failed to prevent, what I spread to everyone I loved. The fungus doesn't let me forget, doesn't let me stop knowing, keeps me conscious, aware, suffering. There is no end to this, no peace, just eternal awareness of what I've lost, what I've become, what I've done to my daughter. The fire burned for 6 weeks. The quarantine zone is still closed. Will be closed for decades, maybe centuries. The CDC monitors it, takes samples, studies the ash. They don't know we're still here, still conscious, still spreading through the underground, still waiting for someone to dig. Natalie's calling for me in the darkness. She'll call forever, and I'll hear her forever, and I'll never be able to answer. This is the price of cutting corners, of drilling where we shouldn't have, of opening something sealed for a reason. Not death, not mercy, just existence, conscious, trapped, contaminating everything. Forever. I was a mine safety inspector. I calculated risks. I wrote protocols. I signed off on drilling near the Hutchins shaft because the math said it was safe. 28 feet of solid rock. More than enough clearance. I was wrong, and now I exist in the coal, in the fungus, in the darkness, with my daughter, with everyone I infected, unable to die, unable to escape, unable to do anything but wait for someone else to make the same mistake I did.